Well, g'day everyone again. Thought I'd take you through the latest rumours that have just been released. Now, I've just watched a pre-release video. Someone is going to get their butt kicked because this video has been released before the official announcement. So somehow it's been put out there early, and I've looked at the whole video and I thought I'd summarise exactly what went on in that video. I'm not going to show it because whoever did it is probably going to be in real trouble. But I thought I'd take you through everything that they said. And we can sort of discuss that too. But let me just show you first off, and Sony Alpha Rumors have now got some more images up that they're showing. They're showing here, this is the card slots that can fit in. You can see the CF Express A, and they're your normal SD card slots. They will go into the same slot. So in other words, there's dual card slots here for both. Now, I'm not certain whether the individual or they both go into the same slot. I'm not quite certain yet, but both cards can take CF Express A, which is really terrific. The menus themselves look really nice. That you can see here that they've changed the whole way the menus look, like it's a complete new redesign, and this looks really amazing. And in the video, he shows that it is a full touch interface and very, very smooth. In fact, you can use the full touch interface whether you're using focus, whether you're going through the menus, or whether you're just flipping through the photos, viewing it later on. The new formats, like you can see here, the top ones are your normal 4K, then you've got your normal HD. These bottom ones are what they call your intra formats, which mean you have to use, these bottom two cards have to use the CF Express A or a V90 card. So they do take much more data to use those two formats down the bottom. You can see here where everything's changed in the menus. There is totally different menus for your stills and your video. Also, when you're selecting your resolution, your 120p, etc., is through a separate menu, which looks really nice. Like I said, I don't want to show this because I'd get the guy in trouble. Just looking down here, there is a new interface that can go into this for your audio. I'm not going to really talk about much about that. We might discuss that a little bit tomorrow. These new cards are going to be released apparently the same time Sony are releasing the a7S3, so you will be able to get the CF Express A cards at the same time they're launching. There's two different cards that's going to be available, an 80GB version and a 160GB version. The read speeds are 800 megabytes a second, the write is 700. Just to show you on the side of the camera here that this really, I'm so excited about this. I'm not going to sleep tonight. Full HDMI. That's what that is there. You've got obviously your microphone socket and your headphone socket. Then there's two ports. So you've got your normal. So you've got your micro USB and then your USB-C that apparently you can charge from as well, which looks great. So your connectivity in this looks really awesome. That's just your dual card slots. Like I said, I can't tell. I think it might be separate card slots for you both cards. This is your eye autofocus looking through here, which looks really nice. Like I said, the menus are really colourful and really stand out, much more organised than what the previous version of the camera are. This is where you can see that you can select your frame rates and everything separately as well. And what else? That's about it for that side of it. And there's just another view down the bottom down here where you can see the swivel screen. So what I want to do is I want to summarize what he said for you to tell you what's going to be available in this camera. So I took some notes because, like I said, I didn't want to sort of talk about or show you the video because I thought he's probably going to be in enough trouble as it is. So what I did, I took some notes. So I'll explain these to you now. So he said he makes a really big deal about the overheating, and in fact he shows it the camera being used on a very, very hot day, and he says how hot it is, and he said there was no overheating at all, and he used it for over an hour, and he said that was through all of the resolutions that he used, and there was no overheating. So that really is great. He said there's also no time limits whatsoever. shutter, which is fantastic as well. So it looks like, unlike the Canon EOS R6 and 5, there's no overheating at all in any of the formats at all with this camera. Rolling shutter, he said, was basically eliminated. That again is huge compared to what the other cameras are. Like I said, the best one I've used so far is the ZV-1, and now it looks like that's being matched with the a7S III. So the rolling shutter has basically, he said, been almost completely eliminated. He said it's extremely fast autofocus, and I'll explain a little bit about that a little bit later on. He said all resolutions have 10-bit 422. So again, that's really fantastic. So that's right through the whole range of resolutions. You get 10-bit 422. He also said that there's 4K up to 120 frames per second, and they have audio in all of those ranges. So again, I've spoken about that before, and that really is groundbreaking. To be able to have that as a backup in case if another camera fails, you might be recording in high frame rates to slow it down, well, you're still going to be able to grab the audio with all those frame rates. So that's absolutely fantastic. S&Q mode, he said, looks pristine. So unlike the other S&Q modes through the other Sony cameras where there is a quality loss, he said, in fact, that it looks pristine. You're still getting that 10-bit color 422 right through the S&Q. So that again is amazing. So they really have upped the ante with S&Q mode. Touch focus in every mode, and there's no pixel binning at all. He said the color matches the FX9 and Venice. So in other words, he said this will be an amazing B camera to use with your Venice type cameras like your FX9. The color science is going to be exactly the same, and that is just groundbreaking from Sony. And really, it's a feature that is just, I'd pay for the camera alone just for that one feature. HLG now is also 10-bit 422. So again, if you'd like to use that format, it's now perfectly usable and also gradable. Now look, admittedly, you don't have to do much grading with HLG anyway, but now at least it should look pristine, because there is a problem with HLG on the 8-bit type formats. 16-bit RAW external, and that's up to 60p. So it's not available yet, but something like the Atmos Ninja V will have that available later on. So you are going to be able to record to 16-bit RAW, and that's ProRes to 60p. And also, which is just incredible as well, you can at the same time record to your dual card slots. Now, obviously, that's not going to be the same resolution, but it's a backup onto the dual card slots at the same time. Again, that's just amazing. That's one of the issues too with the Canons. You're not able to back up the video recorded onto both card slots, which is a real problem. No recording limits at all, he stated, which again is fantastic, because I hate the fact of having a 30-minute recording limit. If you're a wedding videographer particularly, it's very, very dangerous because you can miss a moment when it stops. This is fantastic because there's no recording limits at all. He did show the recovery in the highlights and shadows was terrific, and he said he was really, really happy with it. Obviously, if you shoot RAW, you're going to get a little bit of better footage or recoverability if you're shooting RAWs against the standard format that were there. ISO looks amazing. He said it's actually improved from the a7S II. Now, the ISO on the a7S II was incredible. He did show it going right up to 409,000, and the images look really clean. So I think the ISO, this is definitely going to be the new low light monster. It has, on the AF side, it has 759 phase detection autofocus points, 425 contrast detection points, and it has 92% coverage, and it's -6 EV for your low light focusing. So that's incredible. So you basically can autofocus with this in the dark. He said it has touch tracking, so it's touch tracking like the A7R4 and also the A9, but you can also rack focus while it's recording. So that's a really nice feature as well. So while you're recording, you're able to rack focus between multiple points just by clicking onto the touch screen. Again, fantastic. IBIS is 5.5 stops, but you can also use the active mode. So it's got that same active mode like the ZV-1, which I think works great, and it does do a 10% crop though when you're doing that, so it's something that you've got to be wary of. But if you need that extra stability, you've got it there anyway. The stills, he said, look amazing, and he showed examples of that, and you can can use JPEG or the new HEIF format if you'd like to use that, better compression. I think the HEIF format is a much better codec than, say, or much better compression than what the JPEG format is. So that's a great feature to have in this. It was 10 frames per second, electronic and also mechanical, and you can have 1,000 images in the buffer. And it has a complete full touch screen. He showed the full touch screen working, and it was incredibly smooth. And like I said, this will be beta firmware, so you know, it's amazing. He did mention the dual card slots, and that both can take the CF Express A slots. Oh, he also mentioned that you do need the EVF. The screen just wasn't bright enough to shoot in the daylight. And that's why I've said to people, having that amazing EVF is a really big advantage. And he said, in fact, it was just beautiful to look through and almost felt like you were immersed in in what you were looking at. Layout is basically the same as the a7 IV, except you have that record button, and also now the movie mode and the stills mode are together on your selector, which makes it very, very easy to select. You do have the micro USB and the USB-C, which can also power it as well. And that was about it. So looking at the camera, I really think Sony have hit this out of the ballpark. I mean, really, there's not much more that you would need. Like I said, you don't need 8K at this stage. I think 4K is ample. The footage that he showed, the ISO looked absolutely incredible. The autofocus looked really good. The touch interface looked amazing, and it really did look groundbreaking compared to what we've been used to before. So that looks really good as well. The EVF obviously is a massive advantage, and he did point that out. And I think overall this is going to be a great release, and I can't wait to see the full announcement tomorrow morning. In fact, I probably won't sleep tonight. I might need something to knock me out. I'm really excited about it. Later on, I might even pop on and do a live. I'll just see how I go later on this evening before it's sort of announced. If I'm up, I might even do one live then, but I don't think I will be. I will be doing a live with Aaron in the morning, though, where we're going to talk through all the features, and because obviously everything is going to be announced then, so stay tuned for that live tomorrow. Any questions, leave it down below, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now.